Hello, welcome to my channel. Today is the turn of class 11th. We are discussing the topic units and measurement, and we have measured the large distances. Today we will discuss the small distances, indirect method and linear magnification and complete description of dimensional analysis. Before proceeding further, I would like to say that please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for further notification. And also one very important thing, that stay connected with me till the last so that you may get more and more benefit of this topic. Let us start with the topic units and measurement. Indirect methods for measurement of small distances, and I will give the measurement of small distances in terms of to determine the atomic radius using Avogadro's hypothesis and to determine molecular size of oleic acid. Then linear magnification and dimension analysis complete. We have read about the parallax method. So I remember that it is asked in the 1 mark question that if a star is or a planet is from the earth at this point A and at this point B, this is far away and this is near to the earth's surface, for which planet this parallax angle will be more? Just for revision I am asking this. So you know that from the two places of observation, this join these two places, this is called basis, and you have taken the angle, parallactic angle for the first case, suppose this is theta 1, and for the second case if you measure this angle and this angle is suppose second case theta 2. Obviously whatever is asked, this is the question of 1 mark, but you can assess that theta 2 is less than theta 1, that is parallax angle for the nearby star will be more as compared to the star or planet which is far from the earth. So in this way the questions are asked. Now today we are going to measure the small distances, that is the atomic radius using Avogadro's hypothesis. You know what is Avogadro's hypothesis? That if molecular weight is expressed in grams, then it is called represented by m, and this m gram of molecular weight, suppose oxygen gas, bring 1 mole, this is called mole, 1 mole oxygen, how much you will bring? 32 grams. 1 mole nitrogen, 28 grams. So if m gram of a substance has n number of entities, you know what is n? 6.02 into 10 to the power 23. So what is the Avogadro's hypothesis? Make it clear. We will have 1 gram of substance. So 1 gram of substance, if we want, then 1 gram of substance means n upon m number of entities, number of atoms. So what is n by m? Number of atoms in 1 gram substance. So you can write here, this is number of atoms in 1 gram substance. Avogadro's hypothesis, there is a very important line you have to learn, that 1 gram of substance, all the molecules occupy the space, that is volume is suppose V, but the actual space occupied by the 1 gram substance atoms is 2/3 of V. This is 2 by 3 V. And why so? Listen again, that molecular size or atomic size is spherical, and suppose the atoms are placed in a vessel like this. Such very small spaces are left in between. So due to these left spaces, the left space is in the container, but it is not occupied by the atoms. So Avogadro's hypothesis, due to this space, it says that if you take 1 gram of substance, then according to Avogadro hypothesis, the actual volume occupied by atoms in 1 gram of a substance is 2/3 of the volume occupied by 1 gram of substance. So, volume of 1 gram atom, number of atoms, suppose you have taken n by m in 1 gram, then volume of 1 gram atom, how will you write? Volume of 1 gram atoms. What will you write here? This n by m into 4 upon 3 pi r cube. Why this 4 upon 3 pi r cube? Because every atom is supposed to be spherical in shape of radius r. So this is the volume of one atom. Volume of one atom is 4 upon 3 pi r cube. That is why mensuration is necessary. So volume of 1 gram atoms is n by m, 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now, since as per Avogadro hypothesis, this is the actual volume, it should be equal to 2 by 3V. So you will write here this n by this m molecular weight into 4 by 3 pi r cube will be equal to 2 by 3V. And you know volume is inversely proportional to density. So in place of volume, you can also write this 1 upon density. Density of substance must be knowing. Then how will you find this? What will be the value of r cube? Find r cube here. This will be 3 and 3 will be cancelled. Then what will you get? R cube. You write here n by m. This is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Then 3 and 3 is cancelled. 2 ja 4. Then what will be r cube there? M upon rho n pi, and this is 2 into 2. Will it be or not? And what will be the r? R is the radius of atom. Then how will you find r? Taking the cube root. So this implies that r will be equal to, and you know cube root is power 1 by 3. So you will write here 2n pi rho to the power 1 by 3. So in this way, atomic radius is known. You can determine. So this is the method to find atomic radius, and the second is the indirect method to measure the molecular size of oleic acid. Why we have taken oleic acid? Because it is a soapy solution and have larger size of molecule. What is done here in this method? 1 centimeter cube, suppose this is the oleic acid, and what have been taken from oleic acid? We have taken 1 centimeter cube and we mixed it with the 20 centimeter cube alcohol. This is 20 centimeter cube, and what is this? Alcohol. Now from this mixture again 1 centimeter cube is taken. What I am saying, from the container 1 centimeter cube of oleic acid is taken, and from that 1 centimeter cube is mixed with the 20 centimeter cube of alcohol, and from this mixture, this solution, 1 centimeter cube of the solution is redissolved. It is redissolved again in 20 centimeter cube alcohol. Same. So it has been done so that this concentration of oleic acid is 1 upon 400 centimeter cube in 1 centimeter cube of alcohol. This will be the concentration of oleic acid. So by doing this, you can write that the concentration of oleic acid 1 upon 400 centimeter cube in 1 centimeter cube of alcohol. So Why have you done this? Because concentration you have prepared for this oleic acid, which is 1/4 centimeter cube in 1 centimeter cube of alcohol. Now, in some water which is taken in a broad vessel, n drops each of volume V. We have taken n drops each of volume V. Then the total volume will become NV. So, the n drops and the total volume of those drops is NV. It is taken and we pour n drops of this solution at the water surface. Water is taken in a broader container like this. So, this is water, and at the water surface this n drops of such solution is poured here. What is observed, that alcohol is volatile, so it evaporates, and the film of a thick film, a soapy and film of molecule is left. Which molecules? Oleic acid. So, by the graph paper, area of this film is measured. Again I am saying, n drops of this solution poured in the container having some water, and it is broad. Then there is a film of oleic acid formed, and this alcohol evaporates. So, this is supposed that this film is of single molecular thickness, and you know thickness is given by volume upon area. And how will you get what will be the volume? This will be NV upon 400. We have taken 1/400 centimeter cube concentration, and upon area, so you have written here A. So, thickness is measured, and this thickness is supposed to be the diameter of molecule of oleic acid, because single molecular size thickness is supposed to be formed. And this thickness, experimentally it has been observed that this thickness, T is not time, I have written here T, but don't get confused, this is the thickness. What will be its units? That is 10 to the power minus 9 meter experimentally. So, in this way molecular size is measured. Now, come to the next point, that is the linear magnification. And what do you mean? Linear magnification is size of image upon size of object. You have read in class 10th also. And here one more formula for linear magnification, and this linear magnification can be applied in any of the question given. I am giving you with example of one question that is very interesting, that linear magnification is also the square root of aerial magnification. Suppose some picture is given and it is exposed to by the lens and its image is formed, then image area and pictures area. So, this type of question is also given in the books and it is asked. So, area of image upon area of object, that is aerial magnification, and square root of that is linear magnification. One question is asked that how will you find that what will be the aerial magnification in case of image and object is given, and one question is given that age of, I am reading the question, age of the universe is about 10 to the power 10 years. It is given that age of universe 10 to the power 10 years, and age of existing mankind that is 10 to the power 6 years. Question says that if the universe is 1 day, then for how many seconds would the man have existed? if the age of universe is 1 day, then how will you find that if the universe age is 1 day? Look, linear magnification, you have read this formula. How will you apply in this question that formula? That you will write that magnification in time, you will write here that this age of mankind, how much? This is given 10 to the power 6 upon age of universe. So you put the value, what will you get? This is 10 to the power 6 upon 10 to the power 10, that is 10 to the power minus 4. In the second case, it is given if the age of universe is 1 day, then how will you find the age of mankind? Again, this formula is applied, therefore age of mankind will be, how will you find? This is 10 to the power minus 4 into age of universe. Look, age of universe into magnification. Look, from this relation, age of universe into magnification in time will be the age of mankind. So apply in the second case, if the age of mankind, you have to find age of universe is given 1 day, then you will write here 1 day. This 1 day into magnification 10 to the power minus 4, and you know 10 to the power minus 4 into this 1 day, how many seconds? 8640 seconds. So you should know this, that how many seconds? You write here 86400 second. So it is 8.64 second. So this is interesting one, that if the age of universe is 1 day, then age of mankind is 8.64 second. Let us start the dimensional analysis and complete description of it. You know, we have read 7 fundamental quantities. They are also known as base quantities. Why base or fundamental? Because any other quantity, they are also known as world's best 7 fundamental quantities. So fundamental quantities are 7 and their unit is fundamental unit. We know fundamental quantities and their dimensions, they are written in the square bracket like this: length, mass, time, electric current, its unit is ampere, candela, you write CD, and mole, amount of substance, so in this way, and Kelvin for temperature. So I begin with in the dimensional analysis that 7 dimensions of the world, all 7 fundamental quantities denoted with square brackets are called as 7 dimensions of the world. Now dimensions of physical quantity, how will you define? The dimensions of a physical quantity are the powers or exponent to which the fundamental quantities must be raised to represent that physical quantity completely. How will you define dimensions? Look, if dimensions of physical quantity, so we have read the definition: powers or exponent raised to the physical quantity to express it completely. But how will you understand? Suppose you write velocity. To know the dimension, you should know the unit. What is the unit of velocity? You know, meter per second, and meters length, time second. So how will you write meter per second? That is L upon T. I am writing in the different brackets here, L upon T, meter per second, but you can write directly here LT minus 1. How will you read? What are the dimensions of velocity? 1 in length and minus 1 in time. So 1 in length and minus 1 in time is the definition, that powers raised to the physical quantities. So length power is 1, time power is minus 1. So dimensions are the powers raised to the physical quantity to describe it completely. Again, suppose we are taking another one, volume. how will you write volume? Length into breadth into height. All are length, breadth, height. They are measured in terms of lengths, distances. So distance, this is L cube. So you will write that this is the 3 of L. 1 in length, minus 1 in t for velocity, 3 in length for volume, and so many other things. So what is essential? That you should know the units of the terms, only then you can write the dimensions. What are dimensional formula? These are the things which are written. Dimensional formula, suppose I am writing. So dimensional formula and dimensional equation. If you write dimensional formula, so it is asked, write the dimensional formula for force. Now listen again. If it is asked, write the SI unit of force. The question is asked that force. SI unit of force is Newton. But fundamental units, then you should know the relation that you know F equal to ma, mass, acceleration, then mass is m, acceleration meter per second square, so LT minus 2 and in capital bracket. So this is the formula, dimensional formula for force. And what is dimensional equation? So you write here that this F equal to mLT minus 2. So listen very carefully. Nothing is very suppose you think that it is very tough. Nothing is tough. You should know the unit. That's why previous knowledge is essential. You revise yourself and find the units of force. Then this is SI unit, this is fundamental unit, and this is fundamental unit kilogram meter per second square. Dimensions mLT minus 2. Only this thing dimensional formula, and these two dimensional equation. So in the equation, LHS that quantity, RHS that dimensional formula. So this is called dimensional equation. Let us discuss what are the applications of dimensional analysis and how many types of dimensional variable and constant you know. We know that there are some constants like acceleration due to gravity, it is measured at the height of sea level, and universal gravitational constant, it's as per its name, it never changes. Refractive index, specific gravity, they are constant, but from matter to different matter, different is the unit value of refractive index. So we divide the constants like dimensional constant, one, second dimensional variable. You should know about the constants and variable. With dimensionless constant, and number 4 dimensionless variable. This total is dimensionless variable, and I am giving you the example of each. Dimensional constant, what will be the example? Look here, universal gravitational constant. You have read in lower classes that F is G m upon r square. M and r are the mass and radius of earth. So this is the universal gravitational constant. Its value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. Suppose you don't know the unit, then put it here, take the other quantities on this side. So Newton meter square upon kilogram square. So you will write here Newton meter square upon kilogram square. And what is Newton? mLT minus 2. What is m square? L2. What is kg square? m2. So it has dimension as well as its value is constant. So it comes in that category. Similarly, the Planck's constant and so many other constants. Dimensional variable. they have dimension, but they vary, like the refractive index, like the specific gravity, relative density. So these are the examples of dimensional variable. What about dimensionless constant? Simple, pi, e, exponential. These are the examples of dimensionless constant. Dimensionless variable, so many. What can you say? The dimensionless and variable. So dimensionless है और उसकी it is changing, its values change, it may change, and it has dimensionless, it doesn't have any dimension. These are the dimensional variable. So okay, sorry, this will be the dimensionless variable. Dimensionless variable. Why? Because mu, specific gravity, relative density, they will not have any dimension. What is mu? We have read mu equal to c upon v, velocity of light in vacuum upon velocity of light in medium. So it doesn't have any unit, so no dimension. Like this, an angle theta, these are the dimensionless variable. Dimensionless constant, this pi, e, and dimensional variable, these are any of the quantities you have written here. Suppose force, so any of the force may be 5, it has dimension, it may vary, 5 Newton, 10 Newton, momentum, p, mv, energy, so many quantities, whatever you are reading, fundamental in this derived quantities, they have dimension and they are having different values, pressure. So in this way you have to read, I am repeating again, dimensionless, dimensional constant in magnitude always, and they have dimension. Dimensionless variable, so they don't have angle, arc upon radius, no unit, no dimension, but it varies, 60-degree angle, 90-degree angle, similarly mu of different substances, specific gravity, relative density. Third, dimensionless constant, and fourth, dimensional variable. Now come to the topic, that applications of dimensions. What are the applications of dimension analysis? So there are 3 applications of dimensional analysis. And how will you applications of dimensional analysis? What is the first? I am going to give you the applications of dimensional analysis, and there are 3 applications: to convert a physical quantity from one system of units to other, to convert a physical quantity from one system of unit to other. How? Let us write the first one and discuss. You know, a quantity is measured in terms of numerical value and units are mainly, you can write, and mass, length, time. And what mass, length, time? Suppose you can write mass to the power a, L to the power b, and time to the power c. So any of the quantity you measure, you know that for a quantity, what fact is for this point, that the magnitude of a physical quantity always remains the same, whatever may be the system of unit. So suppose in first system you write here magnitude and this numerical value n1, and this m1 to the power a, L1 to the power b, and T1 to the power c. This is the value of that quantity in one system of unit, and this will be same in the second other system of unit. So numerical value will change. Suppose it will become n2, you write again this here m2 to the power a, L2 to the power b, and T2 to the power c. How can you say 1 kg sugar or 1000 gram? So this is N1 1 kg, you have suppose M1 here kg, 1000, so N2 is 1000, and gram, so M2 is in gram. So in this way, if the mass length time in first unit and mass length time in the other system of units. For example, 1 joule equal to how many ergs, and it is written, do it with the method of dimensional analysis. Then how will you do? Look that joule is the unit of what? You know what is joule? Joule is the unit of work or energy, and you know how will you write the dimensions of joule, that is unit of work. You can write here m L2 T minus 2. How I have written? Work is force into displacement. I am giving here force into displacement. Force is mLT minus 2. Mass into acceleration, and displacement is L, then L and L, L2. So in this way you should know these relations. You have to remember, learn it. So this is mLT minus 2. So 1 joule, what is N1? 1. So from this relation, this N2 will be written as N1 within bracket M1 upon M2 to the power A, L1 upon L2 to the power B by transposition, and T1 upon T2 to the power C. You have to find how many ergs, that is N2 you have to find. So you have written therefore N2 equal to, put the value N1. What is N1? 1. You have written 1. What is joule? You have written here this M1 upon M2 to the power A, B, and T1 upon T2 to the power C. Look here, this mLT, m has dimension power 1, this is 2, and this is minus 2. So you have to write here in place of A 1, in place of B, what is the length dimensions? 2, and in place of C, this is minus 2. Then M1 L1 T1 in the first system. What is M1 L1 T1 in the first system? This is joule, and this joule is written in mass in kg. So you will write here this kg, and in the other system erg is the CGS unit, joule is the SI unit. So a joule mL2 T minus 2 in for joule, m will be kg, length will be in meter, and T obviously in second. So you will write here this kg upon gram to the power 1, this meter upon centimeter to the power 2, and this second upon second to the power minus 2. So how you apply this first rule, that change of system, how will you find n? It is simple. In place of kg, this is 1, you can write 10 to the power 3 grams, gram will be cancelled, you write here gram, and this is cancelled, and what is power? 1. Here this is 10 to the power 2 centimeter, 1 meter, how many centimeter? That's why measurement is important, you should learn these relations. And this is centimeter, centimeter is cancelled, and this is s upon s, 1 to the power minus 2 will remain 1. So this will be the answer, that 10 to the power 3, and what will become 10 to the power 4, and in the multiplication powers are added. So what will you get? 10 to the power 7. So N2 is 10 to the power 7 and 1 joule, therefore 1 joule equal to 10 to the power 7 ergs. So in this way you have to, so many, 1 Newton equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne, so many examples and questions are based on the change of units, so you have to use. Come to the second point, that what is the second application of dimensional analysis? The second application of dimensional analysis is to check the consistency of a given physical relation. What do you mean by this? To check the consistency of a given relation. How the dimensional analysis is useful in this? Look, what is the fact behind this? The consistency is checked using the principle of homogeneity of dimensions. It is based on the principle that is called principle of homogeneity. This principle of homogeneity says that dimensions in a given relation, dimensions of same quantities can be added, subtracted or equated. It is very simple how to learn it, how to understand this. In a given relation, dimensions, quantities having same dimensions can be added, subtracted or equated. Look, you have read the equation of motion S equal to ut plus half at square. What are the dimensions of S? Dimensions of S is L. Find the dimensions of ut. So u is the initial velocity, t is time. Velocity is, you know, lt minus 1 meter per second into time. So you have written here into time. So what is left here again? L, because t minus 1 and t plus 1, t to the power 0, t to the power 0 is 1. Similarly, the third term is half at square. Half, any number, doesn't have any dimension. A, acceleration, so you will write here A acceleration meter per second square, lt minus 2 into t2. Again, what will you get? L. What I said, the principle of homogeneity, the dimensions of same physical quantities having same dimensions can be added. You have seen here that ut has dimension L, half at square has dimension L, and this L plus L, and equal to what is S? That is also L. So learn the meaning by taking example. What is the principle of homogeneity? You have learned, but you don't know how to apply. So in any of the relations, it is said to be correct if this is called consistency. Also, that the terms which are added together, they should have the same dimensions and equated with the same dimensions. So this equation, that's why this equation is said to be correct. How will you use this equation in dimensional analysis based on this principle? One question was asked that can you say with the using dimensional analysis that L equal to L plus L? You will say yes, L equal to L plus L. Some students begin to add, this is 2L. It is not that. Dimension of ut is L, dimensions of at square is L, and S is L. For example, we have given, you have moved through a certain distance you will measure in meter. On foot you have gone 10 meters. By bus you have covered 100 meters. So meter and meter, it doesn't mean that 2 meter. You will write the unit. Similarly, dimensions of physical quantities can be added together if they are same. You cannot add meter plus time. You can you add this is meter and this is time? Meter plus time can't be added. So dimensions of physical quantities and how this application is used to check the given relation. How will you use? Look, suppose I am taking the example, that this example, how can you find the dimensional of physical relation, any of the question that you can use it. In one question it is given, check whether this equation t equal to 2 pi under root L upon g is correct or not. L is length, g is acceleration due to gravity. How will you use it? This type of questions are asked. LHS. What is LHS? dimensions of t time period, so you will write time in bracket. In RHS, how will you write? 2 pi is a constant dimensionless, you don't know, so what will you write? This under root L by G will have its dimensions, so dimensions of under root L by G you will write as L to the power L upon LT minus 2 acceleration due to gravity and its power half. Square root can be written in power half. So this L and L is cancelled, and what are you getting? Again t. This t to the power minus 2 will become plus 2 and square root. So therefore this equation is correct. There are so many examples. You have to solve this question ax square plus bt square in this question. Find the ratio of constants a upon b if x is time distance and t is time. And how will you find? Look, f is mlt minus 2, is it? Its dimension. And what are the dimensions of ax square? So a into l square. Therefore dimensions of a, how will you find dimensions of a? ml t minus 2 upon l2. So you will get dimensions of a. Similarly, you can also write that dimension of f equal to dimension of ax square using the principle of homogeneity. Dimensions of f will also be equal to dimensions of bt. So you can write here that dimension of f mlt minus 2 meter kilogram meter per second square. We have written dimensions of f force, and here bt you write here b into dimensions of t time t. So in this way you can also find that what will be b? B will be equal to mlt minus 2 upon t. Then in some questions asked that find what will be a upon b or what will be a into b, then you have to multiply and divide. So in this way you have to solve. Now the last application is the third one, and that application is if the given physical relation is wrong, you have checked, then how will you find the new relation? Look, how can you find the new relation? And you can derive the new relation using the any of the relation of a quantity depending on other quantities. So what is the third application I am going to write here? To derive a relation between different physical quantities. To derive a relation between different physical quantities. How will you derive this relation? Let us take example. The force, centripetal force, depends upon mass, velocity and radius of the circular path. Derive the expression. Listen, the first line you will write that let F is directly proportional to mass to the power x, velocity to the power y and radius to the power z. Second line, therefore F can be written equal to k m to the power x, v to the power y and r to the power z. This is, and this is the answer line. Now write dimension of both sides. What is dimensional formula for F? You know mlt minus 2. Again I am saying that you should learn the dimensions. And how will you learn the dimension? If you know the units, you can write directly. So it is equal to k is dimensionless constant. So you have written this dimensions of LHS. What is RHS? This is m to the power x. Then what is v? LT minus 1, you know v, velocity meter per second to the power y, and radius r, L to the power z. Now finally what will you write here? M to the power x within the bracket, and here L to the power y and here L to the power z. So what will you write? L to the power y plus z, then t to the power minus y. In this way you have written rearranged. Then compare the dimensions of LHS and RHS. So here if M and L, these are the dimensions 1. Pay attention that m to the power x here, what is m to the power here? 1. So what is the equation? 1 equal to x. L to the power here 1, and what is here? Y plus z. So 1 equal to y plus z. T to the power minus 2 here. So other equation is minus 2 equal to here t to the power minus y. So comparing the dimensions of the same physical quantity on both sides. We have taken here mass, here also mass. Same physical quantity. What is power here? 1. What is power here? X. So you have written 1 equal to x. Likewise. Now again, I know that in the physics you should know to how to solve these equations. That is some mathematical tips you should know always. So this minus minus will be cancelled. Then what is y? Y is 2. Will it be or not? So if y is 2, so put here y equal to 2 in this equation. What will you get? Z equal to 1 minus 2. Will it be or not? So it will be minus 1. And what is x? It is simple 1. Answer is f equal to k. This line is answer line. Put here k m to the power x. What is x? 1. You don't write. Single m is m to the power x. Then v. What is v? V to the power y. And what y you are getting? 2. And r. What is r? R to the power minus 1. This. So it is written as f equal to k m v square upon r. And you must have read this equation, this formula for centripetal force mv square by r in the circular motion, uniform circular motion. So this is the way how to derive the expression. So in this way there are 3 applications of dimension analysis. You should know how to use it, and there are so many questions based on it. How to compare, which application you are going to use, how to change the unit from one system to other, and so many. I hope you must have enjoyed, you will have enjoyed this total dimension analysis, and in the next video I will discuss further. Thank you.